What's up guys, this is KTV lesson number 91, the song My Love is Winter by the Smashing Pumpkins, and first up the song is in standard tuning, so no worries there, and let's get started with the intro and verse right away, and that should sound like this. We've got 4 chords. The first one's here on the 2nd and 4th, on the 5th, 4th and 3rd string. So first finger on the 2nd on the 5th string, 3rd finger on the 4th on the 4th string, and pinky on the 4th on the 3rd string. And be careful to mute the 6th string by touching with your first finger like this. And the picking is down, down, up, up, down, up. Down, down, up, down, up. Then we jump onto the 5th and 7th on the 6th, 5th and 4th string. Now we simply go 1 string down with each finger. So now first finger on the 5th string, 3rd finger on the 4th string, and pinky on the 3rd string. But we stay on the same frets, so still 5th and 7th. And onto the 3rd and 5th on the 6th, 5th and 4th string. So we get and in the second verse we've got a different rhythm, so we go down, 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 up on each chord, and that's the only difference between the first and second verse. And now we've got that covered. Now let's get to the chorus, which should sound like this. Done. First we put our first finger on the 3rd on the 6th string, 3rd finger on the 5th on the 5th string, and pinky on the 5th on the 4th string. And we go 8 times down and up. And we slide up onto the 5th and 7th, 8 times down and up. Onto the 2nd and 4th on the 5th, 4th and 3rd string now, 8 times down and up. Then we go once down empty, and while we do that, we jump onto the 5th and 7th on the 6th, 5th and 4th string again, and then we go up, down 7 times. So we get put our first finger on the 2nd over the 5th and 4th string and go 8 times down and up again. And we put our first finger on the 2nd on the 6th string, 3rd finger on the 4th on the 5th string, and pinky on the 4th on the 4th string, and 8 times down and up again. And 1 string down with each finger, so now first finger on the 5th string, 3rd finger on the 4th string, and pinky on the 3rd string. Once down, let it ring, and then the 5th and 7th on the 6th, 5th and 4th string, once down as well. And that's the whole chorus, and then we get back to the verse. Now let's get to the second part of the chorus, which should sound like this. First we put our first finger on the 2nd over the 5th and 4th string and go 8 times down and up. Then we jump onto the 5th and 7th on the 6th, 5th and 4th string, 8 times down and up again. 3rd and 5th on the 5th, 4th and 3rd string. And 1 fret down into the 2nd and 4th. then back to the first chord, back onto the 5th and 7th on the 6th, 5th and 4th string. Now 5th and 7th on the 5th, 4th and 3rd string. And now we slide up onto the 9th and 11th on the 5th, 4th and 3rd string, go once down, slide up onto the 10th and 12th, pick up, then once down without picking the strings, and then up again. So now once down on the 9th and 11th again, once down into the 7th and 9th, and once down into the 5th and 7th. So we get and the last chord here is the 5th and 7th on the 6th, 5th and 4th string again. And now we've got the whole chorus first and second part. Now let's get to the bridge right before the solo, which should sound like this. This is how it works. First we put our first finger on the 2nd on the 5th string, pick it once. Put our third finger on the 3rd on the 2nd string. So then we pick the 5th string empty. Put our first finger on the 2nd on the 2nd string, pick it once, hammer the 2nd finger onto the 3rd, fret on the 2nd string, lift it back off immediately. So now 3rd finger on the 4th on the 3rd string. Now the 4th string empty. 2nd finger on the 3rd on the 2nd string. 5th string empty. And 2nd finger on the 3rd on the 6th string. So we get do this twice, and then we play it 2 more times, but before repeating it we pick the 3rd on the 6th string once more and pick the 5th empty, and then we repeat the whole thing. So that's the whole bridge before the solo. Now let's get to the already mentioned solo, and the first part of it should sound like this. So first we put our first finger on the 2nd on the 5th string. Now 3rd finger on the 3rd on the 2nd string. Then first on the finger on the 2nd on the 2nd string, pick it once, then 2nd finger onto the 3rd on the 2nd string, once as well, and then we lift it back off and still got the first finger on the 2nd on the 2nd string. So far we've got now 3rd finger onto the 4th on the 3rd string, lift it off, and we've got the first finger on the 2nd on the 3rd string, pick it once, and then put the 3rd finger back onto the 4th on the 3rd string and pick that one as well. So we've got now we put the first finger on the 2nd on the 4th string, 2nd finger on the 4th on the 4th string, pick it again, hammer the 2nd finger onto the 5th, lift it off again. So first finger onto the 2nd on the 4th string again, then pick it empty, and then third finger on the fourth string. That's the first part of the solo. The second part should sound like this. First we put our first finger on the second on the first string and the second finger on the third on the first string. We pick the third on the first string once. Then we lift the second finger off, get the first finger on the second on the first string, as I said, and we pick that one once as well. Now we put the third finger on the fifth on the second string, and the first finger on the second on the third string. Now first finger on the second on the first string, pick it once, then lift the first finger off and pick the first string empty. Now third on the second finger on the third on the second string, lift it off and put the first finger on the second string. Put the second finger back onto the third on the second string, and the third finger onto the fourth on the third string. So then we play the first riff again, and back to the second riff. And this time we just leave out the last note of the second riff of this part of the solo, and I'm talking about the fourth on the third string. We simply don't play that the second time we do it. And that's already part 2 of the solo. Now let's get to part 3 of the solo, which should sound like this. This is how it works. First we put our first finger on the second on the first string and our second finger on the third on the first string. We pick the third, lift the second finger off and pick the first. Then we put our third finger on the fifth on the first string, pick that one once, lift it off, and second on the first. So 3-2, 5-2. Then once more 3-2. So on the first string we go 3-2, 5-2, 3-2. Then we put our third finger on the fifth on the second string, pick it once, first finger again on the second on the first string, third finger back onto the fifth on the second string, then we put our first finger on the second string and our second finger on the third on the second string, and we pick 3-2, 3-2. So far we've got then we slide up onto the seventh with our first finger now over the second and first string. We pick the first string once, and then we pick the seventh string once and hammer the second finger onto the eighth. Third finger goes onto the 10th on the second string, and 8th and then 7th again on the second. So 7, 8, 10, 8, 7 on the second string. Then again 3, 2, 5, 2, 3, 2 on the first string. Third finger back onto the fifth on the second string, Now second finger on the third on the second string, and first finger on the second string. And we hold that one, and then we slide up onto the fifth. So the whole third part of the solo sounds like this. In the fourth part of the solo, we put our first finger on the fifth on the first string, third finger on the seventh on the first string, fifth on the first string again, so 5, 7, 5, then third finger on the seventh on the second string, and fifth on the first string again. Then we slide up with our first finger now on the ninth on the first string, 10th with our second finger, 9th again, 12th on the second string, and 9th on the first again. So we get now we put our first finger on the 14th on the second string and our second finger on the 15th on the second string. We pick 15th, 14th, 17th, 14th, 15th, 14th. So then second finger on the 16th on the third string, then 14th, 15th, 17th on the second string again. So fourteenth on the first string, 17th on the first string, and 18th, and push it up. And that's the whole solo. If you want to watch the whole solo, just check out my guitar cover for this song, and there you will be able to hear the whole thing played by myself. And that's the whole song. I hope you guys liked this video. Leave a thumbs up if you did. Helps me a lot. Keep on subscribing, and I hope I will see you next time.